my mom heard that my judge is a really good guy, the guy who gave me contempt of court for saying, "Can I say something now?" And she thinks that like I'm lucky because my judge is a good guy because I told her that my lawyer never told me that I had a right to um, contest this competency finding, and the judge did. And I was like, well, luckily the judge told me that I had a right to do this, and like my lawyer didn't even say it. Like my lawyer is fucking awful, but apparently he's really good because he's from the public defender's office, and I don't think I have a right to a good lawyer. I have a right to a lawyer that tells me the law according to the Constitution, and when the lawyer is telling me not the law, like when he tells me like wrong information, I don't have a right to a lawyer. I have a right to a person who tells me wrong information. All right, so I have the freedom of speech according to I have the right to speak freely according to the First Amendment. So when I told the judge in front of the court that the police murdered someone in front of the entire church, and he got so comfortable about it. I'm talking about Pastor Kyle from University Baptist Church. And I feel like the reason I got contempt of court is because I said something offensive. It's not because I was actually in contempt of the court. So I do have a right to free speech. I have the right to bear arms according to the Second Amendment. So I have the right to have a gun, and I have a right to bear it, so to carry it. Okay, but the real problem that like my mom doesn't understand when she says this judge is a good judge. If he's a good judge, I have a right to a fair trial. That's the bottom fucking line. Bottom line is I have a right to a fair trial. And the last thing I have in the history of the world is a fair trial. It's been way over a year, and I am being punished every damn week. Like you go, oh, you're not being punished, you're not in jail. Oh, so like when I go to trial, ready to go to jail, like I go to court and I'm ready to be arrested without trial, because like clearly I have no constitutional rights. Like every freaking week, and that's a punishment every time I go to court. Like I'm constantly being punished. All right, so the Fourth Amendment, which prevents illegal search and seizure, is actually very specific. It says that you have to describe the place to be searched and the things to be searched in the warrant. You can't just blanketly hack people. You can't do what the NSA and the FBI have done a lot, which is illegal searches through the computer. So when I have a right to be secure in my person's house and papers and effects, it's pretty clear. Like when it's talking about papers, it's basically talking about computers because that was so far before computers. And so computer searches are supposed to be specific. Now what's happened is certain people have overthrown the government, or in my opinion, if you've overthrown the Constitution and you're a law enforcement person, you've overthrown the government. And I'm sure they're going, I haven't overthrown anything. Actually, you're breaking the law with the way that you search people, and then you're saying that you're not breaking the law. All right, so the Fifth Amendment says that I have the right to not be compelled to witness against myself. So, like, you have the right to remain silent. So when this judge is going to make it mandatory for me to sit down with a psychiatrist, or else I'm going to be arrested with no trial, I will be put in the state hospital and drugged against my will. He's saying that I do not have a right to I do not have a right to remain silent, just like what he said before, which is you do not have a right to remain silent with the psychiatrist, because he according to this judge, he's a military person who swore to defend the Constitution of the United States. According to him, I do not have a right to remain silent with a psychiatrist. I do not have a right to remain silent as long as I'm not in a criminal trial situation, because that's I think it's one of those things you could debate in the Constitution. Like, can you stay silent? Like, do you have a right to? I mean, apparently you don't. All right, so the Fifth Amendment also says that I have the right to not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process or property of or without due process of the law. So so when I have the right not to be put in jail for contempt of court for doing absolutely nothing, that's in the Constitution. And my mom says this is a great judge. She knows a lawyer that knows him. He's great. Like he's a Boy Scout. He's great. Trust me. We know he's great. He's from Pennsylvania, where your ex-girlfriend is from, and where like half the undercover cops you meet are from. That's not why he's from. I don't think it is. I just think Pennsylvania is probably a big place. Like Pittsburgh is probably where a lot of people are from. But man, they hate their drugs there. Like the cops there, man. I've met so many cops from Pennsylvania. I don't think he's a cop though. Obviously, he's a judge. All right, so when these cops rob me, I have a right to not be robbed. So they stole from my house. Oh, you can't prove that the cops stole from you. Trust me, the cops would have to prove that they stole from you. You can't prove it. Oh, darn, you mean that these dirty cops in Colorado Springs can't prove for me that these dirty cops robbed me when all my shit's missing? Like, I fucking cleaned my whole basement. Pardon me for saying so many bad words right now. I cleaned my basement. It's gone. Like these magazines, these cops stole from me. And there's in the video, like, because there's recording of our conversation, me and this cop, the half that they didn't delete. In the video, this guy tells me, I'm going to take your handcuff key to your house. I'm not going to put it in evidence. Why is he telling me that? Because he's going to steal it. He intentionally stole it. So I have the right to not be robbed by the cops. My judge doesn't think the cops stole from me. He would agree. They do not have the right to steal from you. Your shit goes missing. It's not because the cops robbed you. And the reason the cops robbed you has nothing to do with them knowing that everyone in the police department and in the court system is dirty. I mean, honestly, I don't think everyone is, but I think that the decision makers are dirty. Like, I think you guys are that corrupt and you don't even realize it because you're like, I'm in a secret society. We're fighting a drug war. We have to win the drug war in order to keep our secret society going. It has to be secret. And we have to protect people that rob people. We have to protect people that murder people. So I have a right to be secure in my life. So when these cops are trying to murder me because the court has taken away my gun, the court's saying I'm mentally ill. They're saying none of this shit's happening. I'm hallucinating my entire life. And let's face it, is that very possible? Dude, I'm telling you, like, if I'm declared incompetent after contacting that many people, I fucking am never going to be able to have a job ever again. Like, I'm gonna never be able to function in society. Like, I am never going to trust that anybody has a clue what I'm talking about. I'm going to be a hermit. Like, I don't want to talk to people. I'm embarrassed of who I am. Like, are you kidding me? I'm one of those mentally ill people. Like, do I mumble? Like, everyone makes sense to themselves. Do I make sense? Like, I fucking don't know. Of course I make sense to myself. Like, I know that I get mixed up because I'm dyslexic, but, like, am I way more confusing sounding than I realize? Because how can't my lawyer understand me? Like, how can my lawyer think that I don't understand the basics of our interactions? Like, I mean, I think I understand it, but everyone thinks they understand the situation. So, according to the Sixth Amendment, I have a right to a speedy trial. It's been over a year. I pled not guilty right away. I got arrested, like, on the day I got arrested. I don't know if you guys know when I got arrested. The day I got arrested, I pled not guilty. I was told by my lawyer that I needed to withdraw my not guilty plea, and then I was immediately put into the state hospitals. Like, I'm not fully in their custody. I don't know someone said since February I've been, like, partially in the state hospital's custody because there was one finding that I was incompetent or something like that. I don't know. I was confused by that. Like, am I temporarily incompetent until I'm temporarily incompetent? Because according to my lawyer, once I become competent, this whole thing's gone from my criminal record. Like, I can do an FBI background check. When I go to buy a handgun, it will not show up on my background check. When I go to get a security clearance job, it will not show up on my background check. And if that's the case, I guess it's because competency is one of those things. It's like, it's Alzheimer's. Like, if you're incompetent, you have Alzheimer's, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm really wondering if I have brain problems. Like, as I'm sitting here going after my judge, like, and I'm saying, like, this guy hasn't given me a fair trial. Like, what I'm actually wondering is, like, can this guy understand me? Like, does this guy have any idea what I'm saying when I'm in his courtroom? Like, is he this, like, incredibly good man? He's the president of all these clubs. Like, he's a very respected member of our society. He's high up in the military. We trust this guy, and I'm, like, wondering, like, am I, like, attacking this, like, incredibly good man for giving me a cruel and unusual punishment when he didn't give me a cruel and unusual punishment. The problem is I was a mentally ill person in jail that couldn't communicate with people around me, and so everyone wanted to fight me that they put me with, because it wasn't the cops purposely putting me with the worst possible people. It was me being a problem in jail where I don't know how to interact with people because I'm so mentally fucking ill. Like, I can't function. Like, I'm confused. So this cruel and unusual punishment that I got for doing absolutely nothing, in my opinion, he was being a fair judge because he wasn't being cruel. He was trying to figure out how to deal with this incompetent person that he couldn't understand. This guy is fucking, he has dementia. He's disabled. Like, this guy, I can't even understand what he's talking about. He has no idea who I am. I'm the judge. Like, I have to arrest this guy because he's ranting crazy shit in my courtroom. Like, no one can actually understand him. So he needs to, like, I had to arrest him. And, like, that's the thing about, like, I can't go watch the previous trials. Like, I don't know how crazy I was acting. Like, everyone in their own mind is thinking that they're acting normal. That they're being a strong, good person. I'm being like Jesus. I swear to God, I'm always trying to be like Jesus. You have no idea. Jesus will overturn the tax collectors or the money changers' tables. Do you have any idea what it's like to go to the banks and flip over the money? He'll go to the bankers and kick them in the nuts. Like, he'll go to the bankers and throw their money on the ground. Like, that's who I try to be like. But, like, you try to be like Jesus, you're going to get a cruel and unusual punishment. Because that wasn't a cruel and unusual punishment because my behavior was so irregular. Because I acted so outlandish that I needed a cruel and unusual punishment to convince me to go to the psychiatrist, who will say that I don't have constitutional rights. But he's not saying that I don't have constitutional rights. He's saying you can't function in society. Like, you can't do basic things. And since you can't do basic things, you can't be treated fairly because you can't function. So they need to help me. Like, they're going to help me get a job, like, for disabled people. Because, like, that's what I need now. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think I just started this business. I did it all on my own. I didn't even hire a fucking lawyer. Like, I know how to start a business on my own. I went to business school, and I just know because my dad started a business. I, like, think I did all this shit. And it's like, well, am I, like, so incompetent? Like, I don't even realize that my business is, like, I couldn't function in society. Like, I didn't start a business. Like, I thought I started a business. I didn't start a business. Like, I'm sitting here like my entire reality is messed up. And if that's the result of my judge lying and the DA lying and the police lying and the FBI lying, then what I'm saying is that's pretty cruel. Like, what you guys have done to me is pretty fucking mean. And let's face it, you guys have done mean stuff to me over and over again, but I don't know if you have. And that's the thing. There are two psychiatrists that agree, and they did it in front of everyone. And it's one thing to find two psychiatrists that will like break the law, that will do something so freaking illegal and unethical. It's one thing to find people like that because, let's face it, in my delusional fantasy world, the cops are very unethical. They'll murder a pastor in front of their kids. Trust me, they can find two psychiatrists. But can they find two psychiatrists who will do it in front of thousands of people? Like, over 1,000 cops and senators and congressmen and state senators and the media. Would they do that in front of all those people? Like, unless I'm like, I have no fucking idea what reality is. Like, I swear to God, I take care of my dog. Like, I think I feed my dog every fucking day. And I make sure she has water, and my parents can't take care of my dog. Like, if I'm gone for a day, my dog is not going to be okay. My dog's not going to go to the bathroom. I think I'm taking care of this dog. I'm not taking care of this dog. Like, it's like maybe my mom is taking care of the dog, and I'm not realizing that I'm, like, the disabled person, and my mom's the person taking care of all the disabled people in this house. And, like, I'm just saying, like, if I'm not a disabled person, then this is pretty cruel what you guys just did to me. Because, like, I don't think you understand. Like, I have never had such serious doubts about my brain capacity. Like, according to my lawyer, the psychiatrist said he's very smart. And it's like, Well, so was John Nash, the guy who invented equilibrium theory. I don't know if his first name was John, but he was the guy from Princeton who the book A Beautiful Mind is about. Like, this guy has no fucking concept of reality. This guy really believes that everything, like his entire life is fucking bullshit. Like no one's around him because he's a researcher, so they don't realize that this guy's crazy. But clearly there are people around me, and I'm just saying, dude, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, is this judge like a really, really awful person that everyone thinks is like that good of a person? Or like, am I like, am I ever gonna like have friends again? Like, I mean, I think that there are some pretty stupid people, but like that would be friends with me, or like pretty mentally ill people that would be friends with me. But like, um, am I ever gonna like, am I going to be poor for the rest of my life because I can't do like actual work? I've never made that much money, but that's because I've chosen my life. Like, I choose not to make money. But sometimes I don't choose to not make money.